Hello everybody and welcome once again to the Adventures Travel Club television show. We find ourselves back at the Randers Hotel, which is celebrating 143 years, I think, with our hostess and owner, Sonia, and our guide, wonderful guide, Carol. Now we're going to continue that tour, which we had from last week's episode.
Yeah. This, you see, we call this area the new Hotel Randers. It's me calling it like that. Because it was rebuilt, a lot of it, in 1927 to 1930. And we had a very good architect. He hired a young artist. His name was Carl I. Christensen. And here, let's put the pictures, put flowers on. He was 27, and he was in love with this Norwegian blonde girl. He also made this. You will see Carl I. Christensen. Yes. He became very famous, and he could do what he wanted in here. It was his own decision. The architect said yes, and my family said yes, he could do what he wanted. So he was in love, and you can see that. I called it the love room.
I can understand why.
And yeah, you can see here.
Yes.
You see, this is real painting. It is canvas. So it's one big painting. One story. That's why I call it the love story. There she is again playing with the paradise fowl.
Right.
There he is sitting in his imagination.
Serenading her.
Serenading her. And there they have come to the island. You can see again the island.
Here.
Oh yes.
Having a good time.
Oh yes, in the imagination. And there she is taking the forbidden fruit.
Ooh.
But they became married, and
They
did.
Very good.
Yeah.
It ended happily.
It ended happily. He also made the furniture here.
Oh, yes.
And you can see this is the Art Deco period. You can see it all the way around. It's Art Deco.
Very beautiful chairs.
Yeah. It's from the glove effects here. And we keep repairing and repairing because I don't want to have new ones.
No.
Repair them. Had to be repaired. Had to be the same.
Right. Would the glove factory do that though, do you think?
Yes.
Would they be able to do that again?
I'm sure. I'm not sure they could.
No.
No, I'm not sure. You can see what he has had in mind in a way. This is of course real gold up there. He has a sort of Arab tin.
Right.
I have forgotten what they are called. The rich Arab sheiks. They had their tent in the desert. And he had that in mind. Yes, I'll tell you here. During the war, and now we are talking about the Second World War, the Germans occupied Hotel Randers again. But they didn't do really any harm to it. It was a German count in command, and he said to us he wouldn't do Hotel Randers any harm.
No.
But they were sent there, and they were soldiers. They were not Nazis, they were soldiers. But even though we didn't dare have this door open because of the Jew star.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
that would have been...
So what we did, it is also Carl I. Christensen's, also his work.
Okay.
So what we did, so, and then so, and that was it.
And covered it up.
So that.
Right.
Clever.
Non-existent.
A non-existent
That
door,
was
huh?
smart. The non-paying guests from Germany.
Yes.
They are the only thing they did. They stole our blankets.
Did they?
Yeah, because they knew they were
needed-
sent to Stalingrad, to Russia, and it was winter. So what I took a blanket each of them, and I didn't blame them.
No.
I would have done this.
Going to Stalingrad, you probably
Oh my
would want
goodness, in the
something
winter. Tapestry. They are very old, and they are moved from the old hotel over here to the, I call it the new hotel from 1927. That's the new hotel. Yeah, so they are moved over here. We just had the Queen and Prince Henrik visiting us.
You did? Yeah.
And Prince Alexander and Prince Joachim. Yes.
Before they went on their holiday?
Yes, they were here in May. And she was up in the king's room.
Yes, oh, lovely.
And Princess Alexander and Joachim in the princess room. I believe you have them in your group, have you? You must have them.
Of course.
111, har du ikke dem?
Jo, hvem
af
har?
dine.
I think somebody has it, yes.
Det må være en af de ældste, som det plejer.
That's right, yes. I think somebody does have that room.
Yes, yes.
You've got to look that up.
Yes.
The lucky person.
Yes. So I had a long talk with the Queen.
She's
I
a
have
very
some
nice lady,
pictures.
isn't
Oh,
she?
is she?
Yes.
And Prince Henri also, or Henrik, yes, oh yeah.
Did he enjoy the selection of wine that you have at the hotel?
Yes. But we had 110 for dinner in here with her. And the Lord Mayor, and yes.
Oh.
In the next room I'll show you. Det er jo der, du får morgenmad, ikke?
Ja.
Jo, jo.
What year was that you had?
It's just been last month.
This year.
I have all the pictures up there from the royal photographer. Yeah, this room also, of course, is from 27, and you see the tapestries. It's all pure silk, all of it.
From where? Where did this all come from?
England. We had an English interior decorator, yeah, to help us last time. Oh, I can see. I don't know. We must. Yeah. But when we have a banquet in here at night time, we have sometimes 3 musicians sitting up there playing for you. Just should come 3 musicians in the morning. Yeah. The chandelier. The inside is pure silver, and it is built in. It is of course Venetian,
Yes.
but it's built in Hungary in 1922, especially for this room, the whole set. And I'm so afraid if somebody should.
Anything's happening, yes.
When we wash it, and yeah. And Prince Henrik said to me, he was sitting there, and the Queen was sitting there.
Yes.
The tables were so like stars. So Prince Henrik said to me, "This must be from 30. I say, "Yes, from 27 to 30. That's right."
Yes.
He was good. He's good.
He knows his
Yes,
architecture
and they're good at
styles.
Yes, they're good at that.
You can recognize that, yeah.
Yes.
So now we'll go up to the second floor where the Queen stayed just about a month ago.
Yeah, you know, I find it really amazing that they're so accessible to the people. I mean, this was just a month ago,
Right, yeah.
and, you know, she is the world's youngest queen, this Queen of Denmark.
And a beautiful queen at that,
Oh,
isn't
yes. Oh, of course she is. And this is the oldest monarchy. I mean, Denmark is, and yet she's the youngest queen.
she? That's really something. Well, I know that she also, what we showed earlier on in one of the other programs, the palaces where she stayed, she actually directed all of the reconstruction and the redecorating in that particular palace. But let's find out now about this particular room.
Who's 211? I prefer that. You see, the furniture from here is, of course, from the beginning of the hotel. So we keep renovating, maintaining.
Trying to keep it
Yeah,
up.
the bed is new. This is new. Yeah, all the time, yeah. So, and the Queen was very much interested in this.
Table
Yeah.
with the entire oh, yeah. Of course.
Now you can go again to the history. In 1920, King Christian X
Was riding
over the new border. When we had some of the old land back, only some of the old land.
back from
And you have
Germany.
the two princes, Prince Knud and Prince Frederik. He was, of course, the Queen's
The
father.
Queen's father, yes. So the Queen's
Yeah.
father and the Queen's grandfather.
Yeah. And 50 tables were made. And this is one of them. The king had number 1. And his grandson has it today, Prince Christian.
He has, oh, okay.
Yes, I have been guest there. This is number 25. So we are happy to have one of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice piece of furniture. A lot of history in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in this. Yes, yes.
Oh, Marv, I just think this has been great. You know, I find it amazing that they opened this up to the public. All these beautiful, expensive artifacts that they have in there that you'd think they'd be afraid somebody would walk off with them.
Well, it's a small
That's
town,
a
so
small
maybe they wouldn't
town.
get too far. But there
Yeah.
you can see the royal family. There's the prince and the queen, and then her 2 sons.
Oh,
The-
is that a stained glass
This
window?
is yes,
hmm?
and this is in the hotel. It's like you say that. I mean, there's so many beautiful
Oh,
art pieces here, and we
yeah.
didn't have time to show them all on the program here. But there were many more pieces in some of the other rooms that we went through, and she has really quite a collection. Well, you
Ah.
can think 140 some odd years. You
Yeah,
know,
of course,
you're
that's-
going to collect a few things.
Well,
over
I
that
didn't think so
period
much of the
time.
Queen's bedroom. I mean, I've seen
Well-
suites that are a lot sweeter
well,
than that.
well,
You
of
know,
course,
it wasn't
yeah.
all that queeny.
But for the, you've got to figure you're in a small town though too. In this,
Well, I
you're in a
know,
little
but this
hotel.
is a small little country, and you'd think they well.
It's not though. I mean, it looks that way on the map. It looks like it's a small country on the map. But I tell you, you spend a lot of time getting from
going
one
from
end
place.
of it to the
What's
other,
the
right?
population?
Of Denmark?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
I
don't
didn't
know
mean to
if it-
throw
yeah.
that at you, but it does seem small.
You know, I'm not sure. Well, that's it. When you
That
look
doesn't
on
make-
maps, and of
Yeah.
course you're used to living in California, which is bigger than an awful lot of countries around
Here
the
comes
world.
our group getting ready to get back on the bus,
That's
and
right.
here we go again.
Because we're
huh?
going to head off to Oslo, Norway. But before we do, we're just going to take a few more shots around the hotel here. And
Oh, Marv, tell about that interesting story about the bar.
oh, that's right.
You know, I just
Yeah.
think that is so interesting.
Well, while they were in the 70s, Sonia was telling me that they were going to remodel a bar which was downstairs, and there was sort of an alcove behind the bar itself. And when they took off the facing off of that to do the renovating in there, they found a lot of guns and ammunition from World War II. Now, evidently, this is which makes the story so interesting. She told us, that the Germans have occupied that hotel 3 times, and of course in World War II the last time, and they were in the hotel, but the guns and the ammunition were all from the Danish
From the
resistance movement. Yeah.
But you see, look at how clever they were, too, with the door that they concealed.
And you probably recognize these if you go to drive past the Almont Pass going up to San Francisco. These, of course, are the windmills, I guess, of today, the generators for electricity. And we all looked out the window and said, "Oh, hey, those look just like the ones
Like
we have in
home.
California."
Yeah.
Well, they are, but they're made. Guess where?
Yeah, that's what you said. I couldn't believe that
They're made in Denmark.
You think
yeah.
because that's cheaper, or that they just know the know-how and we
I
haven't gotten around to it yet?
I think that they probably started that there, and it probably developed a very, very good business. So, anyway, I didn't see as many though in Denmark, of course, as
As
we
here.
see in in the one area, California alone. However, maybe Denmark is not as windy as some.
Now, if they can
places.
just capture the rays of the sun, so we can have more solar power,
That'll probably
then
be next. But now we're on our way to the seacoast, and we're going to board our ship for Norway.
The biggest naval base we have in Denmark. This is also where our icebreakers have their permanent base. So you will see the icebreakers as we sail out of the harbor. They have 2 harbors here, or 3 actually. They've got the naval base, then they have the official harbor for the big traffic, and then they've got a little guest harbour. We have along the coastline here lots of sand dunes, and of course ships used to go aground here, and the people along the coast used to go out and plunder the ships. Nowadays they still plunder to a certain extent, because people still go aground, of course, and the kind local population will help you drag your boat off the sand, but boy will it cost you. So it's a good idea to have a very good map and to steer very clear of the coastline except where the harbour's on, and follow the route in. We don't have a great tidal difference in Scandinavia. The most is around between 0.5 meter and 1 meter. So we have hardly any tide at all.
Yeah, it's interesting that she said that they have hardly any tide at all, because this is a low-lying area, and I would imagine if there was a big tide, you'd probably have some real problems there. Anyway, we have arrived at the port here, and I'll tell you, I was absolutely amazed when I thought we were going over on a ferry boat. And of course, this is a ferry boat. But this is this boat, or ship, I guess is what we should say, is big as a lot of ocean liners.
This ship, it is a ferry boat, but it's really like the stories the kids read, the fairy stories about the giant, and this would be the giant in the fairy story.
It certainly is, because you can see there it is right off to our right. But when you see how much cargo goes into what I would say the belly of the ship, or the belly of the whale, then you can understand it. And of course, all of these cars over here that you're seeing there in the background, so many people, of course, are on vacation now in Europe at the particular time when we were there. And all of those cars, all of those trucks, all of those little house trailers, or caravans as they call them, they're all going inside that ship along with a lot of passengers.
Oh, I thought maybe they were just parked there and they were going to be passengers going over.
So I'm going to ask you to remain close to the bus. You don't have to remain seated here, but I shall go up and get the boarding cards. If you take a look out, you can see our ship is straight ahead of us here, the Stina Saga, but you can see the Stina Charisma. That's their latest vessel. It's a high-speed vessel that goes across to Göteborg.
It's not a hydrofoil, is it?
It's not a hydrofoil, no. But it goes across in less than 2 hours.
Less than 2 hours, and that's got to be pretty fast. I mean, to get across from Denmark to Norway in that period of time. Now that you can see, there we are. We're loading up in the center right there, loading into the ferry boat that we're going to go across. Again, I keep thinking ferry boat is a misnomer for this. It just is a
Well, you know why.
big cargo ship.
We think, like always, of ferry boats, like thinking of San Francisco when they had the ferry boats plying
Yeah.
back and forth, you know. So at least my connotation's always been a ferry boat was the ferry that we'd see going back and forth across the bay.
Well, this is a little further to go.
I would think so, yeah.
And, you know, she talked about icebreakers, earlier, too. Of course, they're in the Baltic Sea. We had seen that once before when we went to the Soviet Union. We saw that they needed icebreakers because the whole place was frozen over, absolutely solid. So
I've seen that in Alaska also when we were doing the glaciers there. They had the icebreakers there.
So it's something when you have beautiful weather like this, you know, that's the furthest thing from your mind.
Yeah, no rain. How beautiful. Wasn't that a happy day?
Absolutely great. So you can see, you can go to Göteborg in Sweden or to Oslo in Norway. We leave from this area. And here we can just see I want to take that shot just so people could see that how big that ship actually was.
Yes.
So and we could load at most any time. There was a check-in. We already had our boarding passes that Carol got for us, and so we just take your time, and we had lots of leisure time here to go ahead and leisurely board the ship. And then once you got in the ship, that's what the surprise was to me, because there were elevators to take you from floor to floor, and I thought, my golly, we're back on a big cruise. Yeah,
First class cruising.
That was something. So, but and as you can see right here, we decided to walk down a few flights instead of take the elevator. But it's really appointed
It
very
looks
nicely.
like a cruise ship, really.
It does, yeah,
Uh-huh,
it really
real
does,
cruise
yeah.
ship.
And of course, this ship, like a cruise ship, also had some gambling on it. And I see Herman couldn't wait to get to the one-armed bandits right there. But anyway, and we're going to see another machine a little bit later on that was something that I had never seen before, but we'll tell you about that in a few minutes. Anyway, I wanted to take a couple of last shots here of the harbor before we left Denmark. And this was as Carol had mentioned, this is a very, very active seaport, and there's also a naval station that is close by here as well. But you can see those great big cranes, and then, of course that means that they're loading from time to time, fairly decent sized ships and a lot of cargo that would be going probably to other parts of Scandinavia. Perhaps it might be going to Russia or whatever.
I didn't see any barges. Did you see any barges? The flat
No.
ones?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But I tell you what, I spotted that one over there on the other side. That the Sea Cat, that Super Sea Cat, and that was not the one that she was talking about. However, because that one already left by the time that we got up here. I want to make sure too that our bus got on the ship.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right, but you can see here that a lot of these cars and the little caravans or the little trailers were getting ready to also board. And this is so nice because, let's say you live maybe in Germany, Holland, or Denmark, and you have one of these little trailers, and you want to go up and visit the other areas. It's so nice that you have these great big ferry boats that will take you over there.
Marv, there's the difference between the motorhomes or the trailers that we see in Europe or
There's
other
our bus.
places that we travel, and then compare them with the ones that we have here in the United States.
Well, you see, because you've got such smaller cars, and remember, the price of gasoline
yes,
in
of
Europe
course.
is a lot more than it is here, even though ours is not that cheap. Anyway, here comes our bus, and of course our bus originally was from Sweden, and Bjorn, our driver, owns the bus, and we also had a companion tour, which you see on the other bus behind us, and that driver also owned his bus. So they weren't working for another company, they were working for themselves. So those buses were really kept in just immaculate condition.
And they do a good job because they know
wonderful.
they want to get a tip too, so they are exceptionally nice.
This I couldn't understand. Now this looked like an oil barge, and the thing is here is it looked like they were pumping all of this stuff out into the, out into the sea here, and I couldn't understand that. I thought, well, maybe it might just be bilge water because they certainly couldn't dump any of the oil into that.
No.
I mean, this is, and it didn't look like it, but it sure was dirty water that was there. I don't know. Anyway, a couple of last shots here of the coastline in Denmark, and let's go take a look at that again. You sure that's not oil?
Well, it couldn't be. My gosh, you don't put oil in water at a port like that.
I wouldn't think so.
That would happen when they did that in Valdez.
But that was an accident, yeah.
Well, I know,
mean,
but it was still oil.
These people are pumping this stuff out here, so maybe it just is bilge water. I don't know. I hope so. Now, this is a beauty. This is a gorgeous ship.
It's like a yacht.
Oh, it a super yacht, right? Super Sea Cat. But this again is one of the boats that ferry people back and forth between the countries there in Scandinavia, between Norway and Sweden and Denmark and perhaps Finland and maybe, I don't know, if maybe Russia as
It
well.
must go faster because of the
How it's
configuration of
designed.
it. Yeah, because that's why I think you would think almost that it was a hovercraft of some kind.
No, but this is
But she
this is a
said
full
no,
ship.
huh?
Yeah, no, it's not. No, this one. But look at it. It's sleek, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's just beautiful.
It'll
Just
get you
a-
there faster than I'm sure than those
Oh yeah,
other ones.
faster than the one that we're going to go on. That is for sure. But you know what? I like to spend the time out on the water. So I really.
Well, for people that aren't in a hurry, sure, that's the
Yeah.
logical way to go. But if you have an appointment or something, then you want to get to where you're going.
Well, fortunately, most of these people were on vacation,
Yeah.
and some of them were really soaking up the sun on one of the top decks over here. And again, now this is the ship that we are on currently, of course, as you can see. And again, I stress it is a very, very large ship and carried a lot of passengers. But most of these passengers had their cars and their trailers with them. I imagine there were some walk-ons on that, but maybe not too many of them. Biddy, what surprised me too is to see how much activity was out there. Leisure craft that were out in the sea at this time.
Sailing over the boundy main.
And I would imagine too, that some people probably maybe even do that, take their own sailboats between these countries. On this ship, you can see there's room up here for a helicopter to land. Has its own helipad right here. But it was a very, very fine day, the day that we made our crossing, as you can see, very sunny, just a little bit of a breeze, and the sky was nice. I would have cautioned these people, though. I don't think they should be that close to that navigational gear, that radar stuff.
Why, you
they
think
warn you to keep away from that now.
Do they
yeah,
really?
Because there's radiation there.
Well, I thought you were going to say, hey, be careful with their very delicate skin, and with the sun on the water reflecting on the skin, you get one big burn in a hurry.
Yeah, you're going to see that too. That's that's right. Now I want to tell you about this gambling machine that I saw inside. This machine it actually projected a hologram that talked to you, that dealt cards, and it was an amazing thing. And a woman was standing there playing it while I fortunately had the camera on, and the cards are dealt out, and then they go right to the monitor that's right in front of her, and it's really something.
I've never seen anything like that. In all the travels that we've done,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
This was something maybe perhaps new, and but it really caught my eye. I just stood there for a long time, and you could hear it was paying off. It was paying off, so it was fun.
No more bets. Come on, let's go. That's fantastic. Try again. Please place the bet.
Well, what do you think about that, Betty?
I would stand there for hours watching that. It's fun.
Yeah, and you know what? And this ship was so big, they even had an activities director for any of the children that may have been on board. And the activities director here was giving a tour of the ship, and I thought that was a unique thing, wasn't it?
Sure, it keeps the kids out of trouble too, and they're not apt to get sued for some kid getting his hand caught in something.
Probably not. Anyway, that's just about all the time that we have. If you're interested in any of the trips that we do have coming up, give Betty a call at
488-7443.
And we'll be happy to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.